Let me ask you something. Are you frustrated by your rental property? Do you hate the constant calls from tenants and the issues that always seem to come up? Does it feel like no matter how much time and energy you devote to your rental, it never seems to make money when all is said and done? If that describes you, believe me, you're not alone. Thousands of landlords, including myself, have found themselves in the same position at one point or another in their investing journey. The important thing is to figure out why this is happening so that you can do better going forward. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 3 main reasons landlords struggle to find success and what they should do differently in order to turn their losses into profits. Coming up. Hey guys, if we're just meeting, my name is Vitaly Volpov. I'm a practicing attorney, an active real estate investor, and a part owner of a real estate brokerage in upstate New York. I've been successfully investing in rental properties since 2011, and I currently have 65 rental units in my real estate portfolio. On this channel, I discuss relevant legal concepts as well as best strategies and tips for real estate investing and personal finance. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that YouTube notifies you of all my future content. If you enjoy the content in this video, hit the like button and comment down below. And as always, whenever I'm discussing legal or financial topics, just remember, nothing that I say in this video should be construed as legal or financial advice. I provide this information for educational and entertainment purposes only, and you should always consult with your own attorney and your own advisor before making any legal or financial decisions. Last but not least, the views and opinions that I express in this video are my own alone and don't necessarily reflect those of my law firm or any of my business partners. So what's the first reason landlords fail? Well, it's important to remember that real estate, just like any other investing strategy, needs to actually be profitable in order to be worthwhile. I know it sounds simple, and you may be saying to yourself, well, obviously, Vitaly, tell me something I don't know. But the true meaning of the point is lost on a lot of people. Have you ever heard the phrase, you make money when you buy, not when you sell? Well, it's 100% true. Too many would-be investors pay too much for their rental property up front and then later wonder why they're not making money. This happens for 2 reasons. One is that they don't properly calculate all the expenses in owning a rental property. Often this is because they fail to account for property expenses such as vacancy, repairs, maintenance, and capital expenditures. But there's really no excuse for this. There's so much information available out there on how to properly calculate a property's expenses. There are books, Facebook groups, blogs, YouTube videos, and entire websites like biggerpockets.com dedicated to educating new investors. I have also done multiple videos on this channel discussing how to properly analyze rental properties, which you can see by clicking on the YouTube card above. The point is, you need to understand the fundamentals of the financial structure of a rental property, both with regard to its income and its expenses. Only after you do that, you can decide whether it's overvalued, undervalued, or priced just right. But sometimes the reason that landlords overpay for their property is because the market is so hot and the competition is so fierce that good deals are simply far and few in between. In that case, investors often feel like they have to choose between buying a subpar deal or not buying anything at all and simply sitting on the sideline. This is definitely the case in most markets across the country right now. It is nearly impossible to find a reasonably priced deal on the MLS. And when you do, it inevitably goes into a bidding war as numerous other investors compete for the chance to buy it, driving up the price and forcing the ultimate winner to pay more than they should. So what do you suggest, Vitaly? What's your answer? Wait until the market cools off? No, that's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that you need to figure out a way to reduce your competition. You can't and you should not be expecting to find deals on the MLS. Instead, you need to look for off-market deals. Off-market means properties that are not listed with an agent. These are properties that aren't even listed for sale by owner. These are properties where the owner may not have even thought about selling until you ask them. How do you find properties like that? Well, there are tons of resources online, on YouTube, and elsewhere. There are many databases that can provide you with an amazing amount of information on potential properties and potential sellers of those properties. I did a whole video on one of those databases called propstream.com, where I interviewed one of its representatives and had him demonstrate PropStream's features and tools for finding all kinds of off-market deals. It's almost an hour-long video packed with awesome information, which you can check out by clicking the YouTube card or the link in the description below. And there are tons of other resources out there besides PropStream as well. The point is, if you want to stop overpaying for properties, you need to put forth the effort into learning how to reduce your competition and find properties that others don't know about, where you are dealing directly with the sellers. Put in the time, invest in and level up your skills, and you will instantly improve the profitability of any properties you purchase going forward. Reason number 2 that landlords fail is that they don't properly screen their tenants. I see this happen all the time, and my business partner and I have been guilty of this from time to time as well. We don't want to go through the process of thoroughly vetting prospective tenants because, let's face it, it's a huge pain in the butt. It requires a lot of effort and a lot of work. It's much easier to just accept the first person who responds to your ad with enough cash for the first month and security deposit. But you have to resist the temptation. If there was ever a time to be more diligent and more vigilant with who you put in your rental property, it is now. Yes, you can say that last year's pandemic and the subsequent shutdown of businesses and eviction bans was a black swan event that may not happen again for another 100 years. But it's been over a year now, and in some states like New York, the lifting of the eviction ban is nowhere in sight. This is not to mention the rapid rise of various anti-capitalist organizations seeking to abolish rent, ban evictions permanently, and end private property rights as we know them. The point is that you can't afford to be careless about who you rent to and who you pick as your tenant. You need to use good rental applications and leases and perform proper background checks on every applicant who wants to become your tenant. I recently highlighted my favorite tenant screening website and shared the exact application and methods that I use for screening my tenants on this channel. Links to those videos are in the YouTube card above and in the description below. The bottom line is, don't chance having your property be occupied by a deadbeat tenant who knows how to game the system. If you do, you may lose on months or even years worth of rental revenue and gain a lot of grief, all of which could have been avoided by performing proper due diligence. Third and last reason that landlords fail is that they forget to treat the rental property as a business. Did you know that a rental property is a small business? Have you thought of it in this way? Let me know in the comments below. Buying a rental property is not the same as throwing some money into the stock market or diamond handing some cryptocurrency and then just sitting back and waiting for it to increase in value. A rental property is not a passive investment. It can be made more or less passive depending on how you run it, but it is still a lot more like opening and running a sandwich shop than buying a mutual fund. Because a rental property is a business, you need to treat it accordingly. You wouldn't forget to order buns from your supplier for your sandwich shop sandwiches because most people wouldn't buy a sandwich without a bun. By the same token, you shouldn't forget about addressing critical issues at your rental property either. You also would likely hire professionals like lawyers and accountants to ensure that your sandwich shop remains in legal compliance and that you're maximizing your tax benefits. You should be doing the same thing with your rental property as well. You should also make sure that you're always aware of the rental prices in your area so that you know how much your property should re-rent for if you have a tenant turnover. You should definitely use a proper lease and comply with fair housing laws. You should also provide your tenants with proper notices when necessary, and most importantly, interact with your tenants in a professional manner. This doesn't mean that you should become best friends with your tenants, and it also doesn't mean that you should be a jerk to them. It does mean that you should treat them with respect, but also be stern with them if they fail to abide by the terms of your lease. If you work on avoiding these 3 pitfalls that I described and utilize some of the tips and resources that I mentioned, you will give yourself a much better chance at building a successful real estate portfolio. And that will allow you to grow your wealth and give you the ability to reach financial independence sooner and do more of what matters to you. So with that said, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Did any of the mistakes I described hit close to home? Have you dealt with these pitfalls in your own real estate investing journey? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.